I walk through the shadow of death left to fear. This is a journey through the halls of hell.
Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Game of Thrones series. This is episode 4 of season 4 and it is called Oathkeeper. Last episode, we all know the deal, Tyrion's in jail, things are looking bad. I don't want to do a long intro, so let's just get into this next episode, Oathkeeper. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. Just realised we passed some random fiery thing in the sky there. What the fuck was that? Am I making a big deal about the sun?
This summer is
Isles.
That seems like a bad idea by the former slaver not to teach the Unsullied to read and write, because yes, you want to keep them soldierly and not worrying about information, but what if they needed to convey information? What if they were fighting a battle away from their commander and needed to send for reinforcements or anything like that? Reading and writing would be really important.
before Unsullied, nothing.
That's not true.
Is that just through trauma or something? Surely he doesn't have a method to actually erase their childhoods.
Kill the masters.
Kill the masters.
Kill the fucking masters, let's go. I forget what their initial plan is for this city. So Grey Worm and a bunch of the Unsullied are entering posing as slaves. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Unsullied are still slaves really, aren't they? I mean, Daenerys might have dropped that magic whip, but they still think, well shit, she had the whip last. I know if I was a slave, all I'd need was a little bit of encouragement and a sword put in my hand. I'd be like, okay, I'm rolling with you. Holy shit, that guard had a good eye. That thing was fucking miles away. Ah, there's nothing more satisfying than watching owners of human slaves getting fucking killed, is there? Oh man, again, in moments like this I sympathise for the Season 8 haters. You put all your chips on the Daenerys square and got a real unfortunate bust. And instead of saying, well that's how the game is, you flip the fucking table.
Injustice with mercy.
I will answer injustice with justice.
She said that like such a cold-blooded psychopath, but also he makes a fair point, man. People want to see you being lenient. They want their new leader to be a change from what was. Because if I was a slave, part of me would be like, it's nice to see these people punished like that. But also in my mind, I'd be like, okay, my new leader's also capable of torturing human beings to death and ruthless brutality. Yes, she was currently doing it to people that genuinely deserved it, but in the future, will her policies change? Hey, Jaime's getting a bit better with his left hand, it's good to see. Like I said, doesn't really go anywhere in the show, but just this one scene is good enough for me. Happy to see you improve slightly, Jaime. Don't get cocky on Bronn, he's not gonna let you get some left-handed victory on him without bitch slapping you with your own hand.
You want to fight pretty or you want to win?
You talk to my brother this way.
All the time.
If anything, Tyrion really respects Bronn's frankness, and you can't blame him, because imagine he's brought up in King's Landing around a bunch of fake fucks and Lannisters, and then Bronn just walks in telling it like it is. You would gravitate towards someone like that as Tyrion.
You haven't been to see him yet, eh?
We're done for today.
Tyrion did say last episode he wanted to see Jaime, so he better get his bitch ass down there and see his brother who is currently on death row essentially.
He named you for his champion because he knew you would ride day and night to come fight for him.
And Bronn might not care about saying what's the right thing to do and shit like that most of the time, but that was brilliant advice and he made a good point in that scene.
Her son died in her arms. Her son? Don't.
He's just trying to be honest with you, man. Like, what, you can't even talk honestly amongst brothers about the situation? You've just lost a kid. He was giving you an opportunity to fucking mourn, if anything, when you have to put up a front like it's not even your son most of the time.
She's probably working on a way to avoid a trial altogether by having me killed. Now that you mention it.
And to me, until the final seasons, that's one of the stupidest thoughts Cersei could have. Why wouldn't she want it to go to trial? What if there's evidence and she finds out some other rat has snaked her and killed her son? Wouldn't she genuinely want to know who really did it? It seems like she's just making all these decisions based on emotion right now, and I'm not blaming her, I'm just saying it's some of the dumbest shit she does.
If the killer gave irrefutable evidence of his guilt, it wouldn't matter to Cersei.
Seriously, can someone explain to me why that would be? I don't believe Tyrion there. If someone turned around and said to Cersei it was me that poisoned your son, I believe she would become singularly focused on the true culprit. She's a vengeful woman, Cersei. She's not going to deflect the blame to Tyrion if she knows it definitely wasn't him. Surely her love for her son and wanting to kill her son's killer overrides her dislike of her brother.
I'm getting married to your Aunt Lysa. She's waiting for us at the Eyrie. You'll be safe there.
I love the Eyrie so much as a location, as a castle. I hate going there because of its occupants.
You would never trust him to kill the king.
Why not?
Because you're too smart to trust a drunk.
I really like this scene because it shows that her time in King's Landing has changed Sansa. This is the beginning of her becoming the light side Cersei. You know, Cersei's Darth Vader and she's Luke Skywalker. They're the two true manipulative mind forces, I guess, later on in the show is how I would describe them. And both very cold-hearted, like Ice Queenish characters, but just from two completely different moral spectrums. And Sansa starting to see through things, spot tricks, realise double crosses, and who the true conspirators may be, shows that she has already learned a lot being in Cersei and Littlefinger's company.
They'll put your head on a spike just like my father's. You'd risk that just to confuse them.
That's a very good point. That doesn't make much sense.
I'd risk everything to get what I want.
He's such a strategic scumbag, on his way to marry her aunt so he can control the Vale while putting his hands all over her. And to him, it's not Sansa he wants, it's the North. Even when he caresses and kisses Sansa, I don't think he's kissing Sansa, even though yes, he loved Catelyn, he probably is physically attracted to Sansa because he's a creep. I genuinely feel like it's symbolic of control of the North, you know, he's that much of a scheming political fuck.
I can't believe you're going.
There's nothing more tedious than a trial.
I think Lady Olenna's so smart she would purposely make sure she's nowhere near the trial just in the slimmest of chances that Littlefinger double-crossed her and, you know, fingered her at the trial. At least she wouldn't be there.
Luther never made it down the stairs to propose to my sister because the boy couldn't bloody walk.
Lady Olenna, to your own sister? Fucking hell.
You don't think I'd let you marry that beast, do you?
I don't understand who.
I love that reveal. It's also one of the few things she doesn't actually let her granddaughter in on, and you would assume that they would be conspiring together on most things, but that's one thing she just kept her completely out of, and it was a smart move. Why involve her? She didn't need to be involved.
First thing you want to do is disarm them to try and even the odds.
I even like the progression of this scene because he realised early on he could use all the training he got from his fancy upbringing and help these guys, and he's probably increased the general fighting ability of your average soldier here by doing that.
Lord Snow, what do you think you're doing?
Great, Locke's here now. My memory told me he must have been sent here for chopping off Jaime Lannister's hand, but no, he's just spying.
Give me an excuse. Norman's not here to protect you now.
And I'm genuinely sticking to what I said a few episodes ago. Like, I do actually for the first time see Thorne in a slightly different light on this rewatch, man. Like, if you think about it, from every time he sees Jon, he's assuming that Jon killed his fucking brother. That's the way I'm taking his character now. I might be wrong in doing that, but at least it's an original way to rewatch his character I haven't done yet, because that might be the case.
Vast today. Took you for highborn.
Fuck off, Locke. I can't wait till you die. I do not remember who kills you and how you die, but I know you ain't in the later seasons, so at some point you fucking die, and I can't wait for it. Must have been a very uneventful and shit death, which sums you up perfectly.
I was game warden in the Stormlands. Fed a prize partridge to me hungry kids.
Well, that was a roll of the dice because the Boltons are not too far away from the Starks, so it's completely within reason that Jon would actually recognise this guy who's claiming to be from the Stormlands, which is where Robert Baratheon's from. We do not see in this show, do we? Do we ever go to the Stormlands in this show? I don't think we do. I know we do in House of the Dragon. It looks fucking dope. The Lightning Realm.
You have one man guarding the future king.
I promise you someone's safe.
Theoretically, a couple guards should be safe in your own keep, because the only person that'll kill you in your own keep is a double agent from within the keep, and I feel like a few guards can handle that. Anybody coming from outside has to deal with your city walls, your city defences, your city army, etc. before they get anywhere near your keep.
If our daughters were alive, I'd return them to her.
So you made a sacred vow to the enemy.
And also, the enemy made a sacred vow to Jaime by releasing him. It was a mutual thing.
I know you went to see Tyrion.
I wonder which King's Landing snitch gave her that bit of info. Fucking hell, you can't do anything in this place.
Despised by his father and sister. He'd kill us all if he could.
Deep down, I don't think he would at this point in the show. I feel like he wants you to ease off him a bit as his only family members, but that's kind of understandable. All he is a little person. That's like all he's done. I mean, now you think he's killed your son, technically he's done way worse, but he didn't do that, so he's still just a little guy that you bully for being little.
How did you get past the King's Guard?
King's Guard?
How did she actually get past the King's Guard? This poor bewildered child, man. I know it was a different time, and Marjorie is my bae, so I'm trying not to judge her in this scene. It's medieval times. This shit was normal.
If we're going to be man and wife, we'll have a few secrets from her, I hope.
Hey, the manipulation starts though. She's already working the magic.
Hello, aren't you a proper fellow?
That's Sir Pounce.
Sir Pounce. Oh man, how can you not like Tormund? He's named his cat Sir Pounce.
May I come and visit you again?
Tormund like, fucking, you didn't even need to ask. I'm going to sack the King's Guard who guards my personal chambers right now.
Sir Jaime Lannister, knighted and named to the King's Guard in his 16th year.
These people love reading his little shit page in the Book of Knights, don't they? Fucking hell, flip to someone cool. If I was Jaime, I'd be like, yeah, no, flip to Sir Duncan. Flip to Sir Duncan. Don't really want to brag about myself. That's like the classiest way I've ever seen anyone pass a sword to another person ever. Little armrest on the golden hand, it was beautiful.
You use it to defend Ned Stark's daughter.
That's so cool. And it shows that even with Cersei now in Jaime's ear again, he is forever changed from his experiences and his time with Brienne and shit. Oh man, I mean, I just love it when a character you like gets an upgrade in anything, and this is just Brienne's upgrade scene. She is just gonna look like an immortal badass for the rest of the show, and I'm all for it.
For Lady Catelyn. And for you.
And I love when characters are written so that they say everything they need to while saying all the words around it. And in that moment, that was Brienne saying, look, I appreciate you've given me this and I'm an honourable person, but I also want to let you know that I love you. That was like what she said in that moment. She was saying, I'll do it because I love you.
I promise I'll serve you well. See? He's a good lad. He'll get along.
Hey, the best squire of all time arc continues.
They say the best souls have names.
Oathkeeper.
It's just such a testament to Brienne's character. She truly is like one of the purest characters if you size them all up, because Game of Thrones is written for people to be very much grey most of the time, which is a dope and realistic thing. But also, within that, it is good to see people that are not grey, like a Luke Skywalker or a Superman. Some people don't like these characters because they're too fucking white bread, and I get it. But to me, Brienne is like a shining example in this world. Everyone else isn't right. She's right. I wish everyone was like her.
I don't mean to interrupt. Someone wants to see you.
Yeah, I'm sure you weren't hanging round the side of the door listening to that conversation for the last 20 minutes, you little rat.
I won't order anyone to go with you. Volunteers only.
That's really cool, you know. And Sir Alistair isn't sending Jon to his death there because he knows that there's a bunch of people that will volunteer to go with Jon. If anything, he's like, good, we get to send Jon and all his mates to their deaths. But I think he saw sense in what Jon was saying. If they don't deal with this, wildlings will capture these guys and they'll give them all the inside information about Castle Black.
Depend on us getting to these mutineers before Mance does. They know the wall. They know our defences.
Actually, if I was Jon, I would be furious at anybody that didn't offer their services for this mission, thinking about it like that. It's like, okay, what, so you guys are just happy sitting here while they give all the information on how to come and kill you to the wildlings? What the fuck is wrong with you? Come. And they killed their former Lord Commander. And if I remember this heartwarming scene correctly, you know, everyone stands up. Not everyone, but you know, a bunch of people stand up, but then last Locke stands up as well, and you're like, oh, fuck. Even the violin knows. Did you hear the violin change there from uplifting to like, oh, but he's stood up as well. That must be hard for the orchestrator and composer of this show to be like, we need a note that's like, a dick has stood up. So, the dick stood up note. Remember that note. It's a powerful chord.
Thank you, brothers.
Please do not call that piece of shit your brother ever again, man. I know you're a bastard, but you're looking for family in the wrong places, John. Which is a theme you'll kind of continue throughout the show, actually.
Drinking wine from the skull of Gio. Fucking Mormon.
This piece of shit. Like I said, I wish he was written to be a cool character, because I love twin dagger style assassins and shit, and he is, you know, the flea bottom, Jen Alley, twin dagger, cutthroat, legend, and all that shit's so dope, but then he's also a horrific murderer, rapist, sexual assaultist, etc. Ugh, can't get with you, man.
You should shut your fucking hole. Ugly little cunt.
And it shows that this guy's just ruling through being the biggest bully here.
Maybe you're the man.
I wouldn't stand a chance.
It's good to know where your level is in life, you know. I mean, it's not impressive levels of bravery the guy's displaying, but at least it's logical levels of realism.
What did Crash to do with him? Kill him before they could grow up and do the same to him.
Pretty much, yeah. He kind of hit two birds with one stone and appeased an ancient evil while killing them to get rid of them. And I guess the shit kinda worked, cause the White Walkers did leave this place alone. Craster is actually the one man in the entirety of Westeros that figured out how to strike up a truce with the White Walkers. Am I accurate in thinking that? Shows what pieces of shit they are, that they strike up a truce with an incestuous child molester. Now, I really feel bad for Rickon Stark. You know your child acting's bad when you're getting outdone by a 2-month-old. Also, shout out that kid, he'll probably be like 12, 15 now. He'll be like, yo, I was the baby that got sacrificed to the ancient ice demons in Game of Thrones. It's annoying none of them have hung around to watch this as well, because they still don't even believe in White Walkers, to my knowledge, so I feel like a few more of the mutineers should have seen for their own eyes that it's an actual real thing. Not that I hope for the mutineers to have a nice story arc where they come back to the good side or anything. It would just be nice for them to get some perspective on how fucked they are.
You thirsty?
What an asshole. Now, I know this guy is a douche to Ghost in this scene, but I will say the nicest thing these guys did was not kill Ghost, because they're so ruthless and horrible you would have just expected them to kill Ghost. We've already had 2 direwolf deaths in the show by my count, I don't want to see another. Still not evidence, but I mean, he knows that something took the kid, so maybe the stories are true. That's almost more frustrating. He almost saw the White Walker.
Is that a baby?
Oh my god, these guys are right next to Craster's Keep. I forget so much about the middle portions of this show. Like the first season and the last seasons. The last 2 seasons stand out in my head, and all the shit in between, I'm so shocked at how much I've just completely forgotten about. Well, Bran looks like he's getting pretty good at choosing when to warg into the wolf. He seems like he's mastered this one. Oh my god, don't tell me Bran's wolf just died. For fuck's sake. Between all the skinned rabbits and dead stags and skinned stags and dead direwolves, George R.R. Martin, calm the fuck down. This is so bad. How dare they treat Hodor like this? How dare they?
If I was your size, I'd be king of the fucking world.
I think a lot of people look at big guys and think like that. It's not as simple as just being a big person, you know. A lot of big people try to be kings of the world. How many fucking kings in history do you see being listed as 6'9"? Some short little smart dude figured out how to send that giant onto the front lines of his army and fight for him.
I like your curly hair.
Oh man, he's such a slimy, villainous character, this guy. It's really well acted. I've never seen this guy in anything before or since. I've looked for this actor in other things, but he kills this role. Just yet another side character who's so well written and acted, they could be a villain that you could extend and build the character of. George R.R. Martin writes great characters for fun.
What the fuck's wrong with him?
Come here.
Must be getting flashbacks to the Philosopher's Stone casting call. My one thing with action and fantasy nowadays is like 90% of the men decide to give their delivery in the Batman voice. Like, if you pause 90% of characters in modern action and TV shows and just put the cowl on their face, that's what they would be like as Batman. If you just wondered what an actor would be like as Batman, just fucking listen to 90% of them talking an action movie and imagine the bat cowl on them. So in that last scene, that would have been like a Manchester Batman, a medieval Manchester Batman. That's how he would have sounded. Alright guys, this is BA Reactions. I'm currently watching Game of Thrones. That's a Scottish 2024 Batman, in case you were wondering. That scenery is absolutely beautiful. Yes, I know, digital composite shot with CGI elements, and I hate all of that shit, but you know, for a singular visual, it was nice. And I remember this scene because this scene confused the living shit out of me. Okay, I think I've just for the first time figured out the system they're trying to explain here. So, White Walkers are not raised dead, right? So, is it that it has to be a human offering that can be turned while still alive into a White Walker by direct touch from the Night's King, and then they have the ability to raise dead? It's a complex little system, but it's sort of like a wasp life cycle or a parasitic life cycle if you actually sort of think about it a little bit. Is that what that last scene was trying to convey? Because the first couple times I watched that, I had no idea what I was watching there. Just like, oh, he's turned him into a zombie. But thinking about it deeper, I think that's what it's explaining there. How White Walkers are created. Okay, and that was episode 4 of season 4 of Game of Thrones, Oathkeeper. And I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, Oathkeeper, what did I think of that? Another brilliant episode, and I'm starting to wonder if this particular season is maybe a flawless season. Is there any season of Game of Thrones that you would class as flawless? You know, nothing but 8s to 10 out of 10 episodes for the entire season? I feel like there must be a slow point somewhere, but I found every single episode so interesting just now, and there was so much going on, it's easy to forget parts. You had Marjorie starting to manipulate Tormund, and before that, Lady Olenna revealing to Marjorie it was her who in fact poisoned Joffrey. We got the scenes showing Sansa's smarts and starting to learn from characters like Cersei and Littlefinger by the way she was doing a process of elimination in her head while having a conversation with Littlefinger about who committed the act of the poisoning. Daenerys and the Unsullied started their opening volley on this new city. They snuck in as slaves, armed the other slaves, got them all on board with Team Kill the Masters, and it worked perfectly. But I know for a fact that this is the hardest city to try and take, and unlike other cities, the Masters do not take this shit lying down. In fact, I think the Sons of the Harpy are like a created response to this episode. I don't think the Sons of the Harpy existed before this episode, but it's like, not a cult, but they almost look occultish with their masks and shit, but it's obviously a resistance or a rebellion response to this uprising, which is generated because of what happened in the episode we just saw. And Brienne getting an outfit upgrade is just so dope. It's so video gamey. It's like in Batman when they're like, got a new gadget for you. Or like when James Bond goes to visit Q, but it's done in a classier way here, of course. It's not like as tacky as one of those scenes, but still, it's just always good to see a character you love getting an upgrade, because Brienne is already an absolute badass. She can hang with some of the best swordsmen in the world already, and now she's been given her own Valyrian steel sword and a beautiful set of plate armor made by the King's Landing blacksmith. I mean, wow, she's going to be hard to kill because of the armor, and she's going to be able to shred people like butter because of the sword, and it's just a double upgrade. It's an attack and defense upgrade simultaneously. It was brilliant. And as I was saying while I was watching it as well, it shows that Jaime is forever changed by the small time he spent with Brienne. And yeah, then the Mutineers storyline. I mean, obviously it intersects. Now that I'm thinking about it, the fact that Bran and his crew were right next to Crastal's Keep. I mean, Jon's party obviously intersect this before it gets bad, but yeah, they set it up so brilliantly, and I forget that. It makes sense though, you know, those guys are heading north of the wall. Crastal's Keep's one of the first places you get to once you pass the wall. So yeah, again, George R.R. Martin just set up the chess pieces perfectly for this to be a natural crossing of paths amongst three parties. And is that Summer dead? I mean, my god, I don't want to see any more of these dire wolves getting killed, man, but it looked like Summer fell in some sort of spike trap. And once again, shout out to the actor playing the main mutineer villain at Crastal's Keep just now. He does such a good job of being a slimy, loathsome piece of shit while also coming across as a formidable fighter. And you know, I won't say this often, but shout out to Alistair Thorne for allowing Jon to get a party of people together and actually go and do this mission. It's one of the only times I think I see them on the same page throughout the whole show, so you know, shout him out for that. And yeah, as I was saying, the last scene, I don't know why I never stopped and thought about it to this moment, but obviously there are three components to the Night King's army. There's the Night King himself, then there's the White Walkers, and then there's the undead. And for some reason, I just never stopped to ponder there being a difference to the creation of a White Walker to the creation of an undead before. I just assumed maybe the Night King raised someone, but instead they were a White Walker. But I believe this explains how an actual White Walker is created, and that it's a separate ritual which requires maybe a human infant to turn them into a White Walker. And then the White Walkers and the Night King both have the ability, of course, to raise dead people. So yeah, at least like scientifically, there's some sort of life cycle going on there you can track, and that's just more fool me for never really thinking about it up until this moment. It just shows again why rewatches of things, especially this deep with lore, and you know, you can track back 10,000 years of lore and all the houses, the sigils, the regions, all the people snaking one another, the individual characters. It is a lot of information to intake even on multiple watches, and I'm still learning shit watching it a third time. But yeah, another brilliant episode, and I can't wait to see what happens next week. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.